All right, good evening, Lethbridge and world. I'm saying hi to the whole world.
Hello, world and Lethbridge.
We're happy to welcome you to this episode of Soapbox Union, of mystery, of intrigue, and we want to start this episode off with a mystery.
Ooh, what is it?
Well, it's one you're going to have to answer, Cami. So it's a riddle.
Oh.
What is yours, yet others use more than you?
What is yours, but yet others use more than you?
Yes.
I'm actually surprised and shocked that I could remember all that without you having.
Oh, I thought you knew the answer.
No,
answer.
I don't know what the answer is. Is it
your name? First mystery we solved tonight. With it being Alfred Hitchcock Day.
Mm-hmm. Oh, did you know, by the way, that it's National Hitchcock Day today?
Well, wait, because my first thing was a mystery, we'll reveal the mystery of what our names are. I'm Danielle Lowe, founder of I Am Eve Events.
And I'm Cami Tanner, and I'm the owner and designer of BoxwoodBureau.com.
And together we make up Soapbox Union. And I wanted to say, a place where we remember and authentically share our stories, gratefully learning from the past, and building brighter, happier futures for those to come.
And that's why we do what we do. There you go. But yeah, so we discovered that it was Alfred Hitchcock Day today, and we thought, how fun is this? Let's do a show on mystery and suspense and just have some fun with it.
Yes. So for those of you that are just joining us, just teasing.
We just started.
It is Alfred Hitchcock Day. And talking of crime and punishment, I'm totally pulling a Cami.
Are you trying to be punny
No,
right now?
We hope to assault not assault your intelligence, but pepper you with some solvable mysteries. We thought we would invite you to become curious about all the mysterious things around us. I ran out of puns. Okay, but being Alfred Hitchcock Day,
yes,
I have written a paragraph.
Okay.
And Alfred Hitchcock for 50 years made films.
Yeah.
Crazy. So I have taken some of his famous film titles and put them all into one fabulous paragraph. And Cami's going to try and tell you how many I included.
Okay. Ooh.
Doo-doo. Doo-doo.
That's Steven Spielberg.
I know, but I'm just trying to create some suspenseful music. Okay, here's the listening game.
Oh.
I'm in a frenzy, spellbound. When I looked out my rear window, the birds were psycho, flying in a north by northwest direction. I had my suspicion about why. I knew without a shadow of a doubt it was because a man, a foreign correspondent, was the man who knew too much about Rebecca and Marnie, the strangers on a train. Would he try to use blackmail, or would it be a classic case of the lady vanishes? Hoping not to have the wrong man, I wanted to catch a thief, this notorious saboteur, before I had to use one of the 39 steps and dial M for murder.
Ooh. So I honestly was counting every time you emphasized, because I thought that's where you were leading into the title of the movie. 18?
I think there's actually 22.
Oh, okay, so I was very close. I wasn't sure on some of those, but that's
it was
pretty
just
close.
such witty writing.
That was really good. I know he has made a ton of movies. Have you watched any of his movies? Are you a Hitchcock fan?
I've seen probably the Psycho and The Birds.
The big ones.
Yeah.
Well, he had
a lot of big ones.
I know a lot of big ones, but I've watched quite a few of his movies. I am a bit of an old movie fanatic, and I loved old movies growing up, and Alfred Hitchcock definitely were some of them. And even his TV show or his series that he did, I watched a lot of those episodes. You know, where he like has the outline. So I really like Alfred Hitchcock. I think he's an amazing film director, and he actually is. Oh, I had a little bit of stuff that I found, but he was the most influential filmmaker in suspense, and paved the road for a lot of film directors today. You know, like Steven Spielberg and Scorsese and M. Night Shyamalan. They were all completely inspired by him. And so, where would we be without all these, you know, fun films and like inspired people? And so, it's.
Oh, and I'm just trying to create some suspense.
I was trying to solve the mystery of how to share this live, and I found us.
So do you know what? Do you know what made him so amazing with suspense?
No,
I
don't.
Because he used camera tricks where he literally made you feel like you were in the movie. By the way, this is my detective glass from this is actually my grandpa's, but I love this. Anyway, so this helps me solve mysteries. So
you should have used it for the riddle.
But he, anyway.
Wah, wah.
But he actually used camera tricks in order to change a person's gaze into feeling like they were actually there, part of it, or visualizing what was actually happening, and use camera angle to enhance the fright, the suspense, the fear of what he was portraying in the movie. He used a lot of it. You know, a lot of times film, like suspense movies now, they're telling you a story and they're leading you in a direction, where he would just show you just enough that you had to use a lot of your own imagination to kind of piece together the rest of what he was trying to portray, which made it so powerful and so, you know, fearful, because you really started to feel like you were a part of what he was creating.
Did he not always tie up the ends too, so you could predict what would happen? Did I read that, or am I misled?
Well, I don't know, honestly, actually, but
maybe one of our
that's
viewers.
something I'd have to look into a little bit more. But
if only we could Google that.
You know, somebody who was so talented and so driven in what he did, he was very self-conscious. And
really?
A lot of his movies, he actually wouldn't even play, or it would be like years until he would release them or let people watch them, because he was so self-conscious in how they were going to be taken. But yet he was like the most famous.
Isn't it ironic that even who we would say is the most, or one of a great talent in the field of suspense movies, felt so self-conscious? So really, doesn't matter where you are, if you're not working on the inside.
It's true.
It can be at any level.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so I was going to name off some of his movies, but you already just did this whole paragraph thing. So thanks for taking the spotlight away from me.
Well, maybe you can name some, and people would be like, "What a witty paragraph!"
But
she created.
I do remember, because you mentioned the birds. I remember the first time I watched The Birds. It was terrifying. I was so scared. To this day, I kid you not, whenever you see a big
swarm,
or what are they called? A flock? A swarm?
Oh, yeah.
Flock of birds?
I guess bees swarm. But when they get so thick and dense.
Yeah. When you look up in the sky and you see this big flock of birds, does it not flash through your mind, cover your eyes, you're going to get pecked out? Or like, where am I going to go run hide? I have these flashes in my mind where I'm like, okay, where can I run and hide where the birds are going to get me? Because it left that much of an impact.
Well, I did read that the scariest moments is when someone can take something completely mundane or a little bit...
Or innocent, almost.
Or a little bit like something that we've all seen. So you've seen when birds are all collecting together and then they fly in that big...
Yeah.
I guess flock is the word. Unless it's a gathering of crows. Do you know what it's called when it's crows?
Nope.
A murder.
No, it
Yes,
is not.
is. It totally is a murder of crows. Anyway, you take an event that's pretty mundane, and then you create that kind of creepy sense. Like
That twist of what if?
Like, when the television used to kind of fuzz out or signal out, and then they made it into a creepy thing. I'm not much of a creepy suspenser, but I do like a good mystery. So that's why I didn't watch a ton.
See,
of
and
Hitchcock.
but Hitchcock wasn't horror and fright. He was suspense and mystery, and that's what he built on. And so and I love that too. I love the whole puzzle piecing and like little snippets and then like trying to solve something. I do love that. I'm not a horror person by any means. They're totally two different categories anyway, but
Two different genres.
two different genres.
Genre. The beret du genre.
So I was a big fan of Hitchcock. Still am, I guess.
Yes, actually, when my very first English class at university was taught by this wonderful woman professor, and she comes into class the first day and she says, "What's the word when you sleep with dead people?" And the only thing that went through my mind was disgusting. Why?
That is such a random.
It was a random way to start, but it was so shocking. It was that suspense. She built it in 1 second. And I was more shocked when people knew the word.
There actually is a word?
Oh, yeah. Oh, shucks. I should have looked it up. I think it's necrophiliac or...
Oh.
Right?
Some like, okay.
So anyway, I'll always remember that that's kind of how she started. And we did study that year Shelley's Frankenstein and Psycho kind of mixed together. And so it made an interesting blend. But because of Psycho, where he kills his mom.
Well, his mom is already dead, but he's schizophrenic, so he believes that she's still alive and she's dressed up in the rocking chair, but she's actually a skeleton, and he's doing her voice. I know.
This is probably my first introduction, my first year at university, to Hitchcock. That was the intro of my English class and my English professor. Mashing those two stories together.
Cool.
That is it.
Everybody should watch the movie Psycho. It's such a classic. Right. I know. I like it.
Oh, funny.
I used to have that for a ringtone for somebody, but
You do.
that was long ago.
No names will be mentioned.
Every time it would ring, it's awesome. I loved it. Oh yeah.
Okay.
So,
What were some of the films that you
I
loved?
from the obvious Hitchcock ones, not so much movies, but I really get into television series. And so, but oddly enough, I get drawn to the British ones, and I guess because they just do it so well. But there was one called Rosemary and Thyme, which I love this show.
Obscure
I know.
TV watcher.
I know. I love like these random obscure shows, and especially British to boot. But it was about
Where are you getting these from?
Netflix.
Oh, okay.
So, but that was American Netflix when I lived in the States. So there was like all this good stuff on there. But there was these two women who, one, her husband left her for a younger woman, and another woman was a detective who was sacked, but they had a love for horticulture, and so they grew garden and did
I thought you said horticulture.
No, landscaping, and they were going and like designing gardens and doing landscaping for people. Somehow or another, every house that they went to in landscape, someone was murdered.
They always
And
are.
they ended up were the ones solving it, and somehow or other, everything that was plant-based was used to murder the people.
Ooh.
And because they were horticulturists and a former detective, I mean, they were just in the right spot in the right time. It was fate. So I used to watch that one a lot, and I used to watch Father Brown and Midsummer's Murders. And I do love these shows, but there does become a point where I'm thinking, what is wrong with these people? Everywhere they go, people just drop dead. And I think, if I was a commonsensical person, I would never be friends with these people because I would just inevitably drop dead someday because they have this vibe everywhere they go.
Well, who wants to watch a show where they just go from house to house, no problems,
It's funny because
add some fertilizer?
in the show Father Brown, because it's this priest,
Yeah.
and he's not really a detective, but he somehow solves all these murders that happen in this little English town. And there's a point where you're like, how many more people can die in this town? There's going to be nobody left.
So he moves.
So move. Oddly enough, next town, all those people die. Anyway, it's a mystery in a mystery.
That's right.
So weird, obscure mystery shows. What about you? Are you a mystery movie person?
I'm just trying to think where I want to go without
I want
going
to say
into further
who are you dressed up as?
deepness. Okay, so
Maybe that could give us a clue into what you.
there is a pun. So one of my favorite childhood games was Clue. That's my first clue.
Who doesn't love Clue? But then escaping down the back hallways,
Going through the conservatory
Yes.
to the kitchen.
Loved
those
that.
secret hideaways. And I loved that the murder weapons were teeny tiny, doll size. Mm-hmm. I don't know why.
Whatever
I
floats
guess
your
they
boat.
were murder weapons, but I just liked that they were.
I just think it's so funny as a child's game of murder and solving murder mysteries. But how are these people being killed? Well, it could be a
Who did
candlestick.
it?
They could be strangled.
Where did they do?
Where did they do it?
Quite morbid.
It is quite morbid when you think about it, but it was. I mean, everybody played Clue.
We played it, and when it came out as a movie,
Tim Curry.
no, I do.
I loved the part where she's like the maid. She's like wee wee, and he's like down the hall.
Okay, our favorite part that we would say over and over and over again was, "I am your singing telegram."
That's such a good movie.
All the time. And actually, my girls love Clue. We play it a lot.
Yeah.
The only thing is David. Sorry, David, I'm throwing you under the bus. David actually acts like a real detective in Clue. And when it's not his turn, he's checking marks and then like trying to decipher what cards you're showing. It's really annoying.
And for the longest time, I didn't realize that it was pronounced Colonel Mustard. I just called him Cole Mustard all the time. I suspect Cole Mustard with the candlestick in the kitchen. Until someone said, no, it's an abbreviation for Colonel. Who knew?
I love that.
I was just a dumb kid. What can I say?
I knew his name was Colonel Mustard, but I probably never knew how to spell it. So. But I love it. All truth laid out. So yes, I am Miss Scarlet, and I'd like to throw a shout out to my daughter Lucy, who said, "Mom, Miss Scarlet would be wearing a red dress," but she made sure my necklace and my earrings were red.
Good choice.
And had she not lost her red lipstick by grinding it into my carpet, I would have had red lipstick.
Oh, gosh.
But it's no longer with us.
Oh, that's okay. Probably for the best.
So, and did you know that Miss Scarlet, when you play Clue, if you are Miss Scarlet, in the official rule book, you go first?
Ladies first?
No, because there's Mrs. Orchid or...
Peacock and Miss
Mrs.
White.
Yeah, but they have a
Ms.
new one.
White. What? There's a new one?
Yeah, Dr. Orchid, who's a woman. That's not funny. They were It was like when I saw the whole Barbie series, and it was like Barbie becomes a doctor. Barbie can do whatever you want. I was like,
No.
I get it, Barbie.
Barbie,
Oh, well, anyway.
Barbie, you're delusional.
If you are just joining us, my name's Danielle Lowe, owner and operator of I Am Eve Events.
And I'm Cami Tanner. I'm the owner and designer of boxwoodbureau.com.
Together,
Da-da-da-da.
the mystery solved, we are Soapbox Union.
That sounded very mysterious.
It did. Now,
Yes.
I wanted to tell you a little bit about the psychology of suspenseful music.
Music?
Yes,
Ah,
because we're going to do a game at the end of this.
okay.
Played by none other than your Cami Tanner. Okay, let me just find where I put this.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's okay.
It is also a mystery.
Take your time. It's all good here.
Okay. So, one of the things that makes movies and films so mysterious is the unpleasant collection of notes.
Yeah.
If they played a nice, harmonious chord, your body wouldn't react. And they actually play notes that sound awful to make your heart
Uh-huh.
and to make your heart race and to make you feel not at ease or panic. So any dissonant chord will do, and it creates tension and puts you on edge. Now, most music hits in the range of our voice, which is right around middle C. But anything too high or too low is alarming, right?
Really?
That's good. Thank you. I wish I had a keyboard. But if you think about it, high, suddenly high, a huge jump, and surprise, what sound does that mimic in real life?
Of a high jump or surprise?
Like a dissonant chord, and really high.
Oh, jeez. You can't do that without my knowing beforehand.
It's a scream.
That's not
And a
cool, man.
scream indicates panic.
Yeah,
I wasn't really
it
gonna
totally
do-
works.
I hate the sound of screaming. It's the one noise at school that I'm like,
It's that same thing when they do in the movies and you know something's coming, but it's just silent and it's building, and then they like slam you with that loud, high-pitched.
yeah,
Yeah, it does it.
scream sound. And why screams are so alarming? Because evolutionary-wise, when we screamed, it was to save ourselves and get out of there.
Do you ever? Okay, I'm gonna say something. Do you like your scream?
I try never to scream.
Because
I can't say I'm much of a screamer.
yeah, I'm not either, and I've always kind of envied these people that can like have this like
envy.
curdling scream.
No.
Yeah, because whenever I scream, it's kind of just it's got no sustenance to it.
Yeah, it hurts your voice to scream.
It does, but
I think you have to be trained how to scream.
But I think if there was a situation where I had to scream, I couldn't scream. It wouldn't come out. Have you ever had nightmares where you've been trying to scream and nothing comes out? And you're panicked and you're like, I can't scream, but I need to scream. Anyway, I just don't like my scream. I thought I'd just throw that out there right now because you mentioned scream.
How are our male viewers feeling about their screams?
I'm just saying, if the situation called for it, I wouldn't be able to scream effectively.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Don't even like do anything right now to make me have to scream.
Okay, I won't.
Well, that's reassuring.
Yeah, because, distortion. So they use that high and suddenly high and a huge jump.
Yeah.
And surprise usually means death, and the distortion means chaos.
Yeah.
They distort it a bit.
Yeah.
And, so I have some songs,
Okay.
and this is Name That Freaky Tune.
See how good I am.
Okay, so here we go. This first one's really easy. I started off easy. Oh, but I got to turn on my volume.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Pink Panther. Yeah. We should play that Name That Tune and How Many Bars Can I Get It In?
Ooh, that was close. Okay.
Okay.
Next one.
Oh, this is Unsolved Mystery. So spooky. I hate that song. I hate that song. You gotta turn it off. I hate that song.
As a child, who took themselves out by watching that? I remember I used to close all my blinds, but yeah, I was just like, next episode.
It was one of those shows where you're like,
one.
I hate this show. I don't want it. It scares me to death. But you couldn't stop watching
You
it.
turn it on anyway. Ooh,
That guy's voice.
Robert Stack.
As soon as you hear his voice, it just sends chills down your
Oh.
spine. Ah! Yes.
Okay, sorry.
That's just,
Okay, now this masterful genius
yes.
was able to create such an eerie sound, and you might get it right away before I even play it, with just 2 notes.
Is this Jaws?
No!
Yeah.
I hated it when it came out.
Oh, it's so scary.
Jaws. Okay, that was John Williams. Ooh, this part was always you just cover your eyes.
You know it's coming. Get your feet out of the water.
For so long, I was terrified of swimming in the ocean. And actually, I had to train myself as an adult when I went to movies, when it's really suspenseful or mostly suspenseful because I don't go to anything too scary.
Yeah.
I have to just like calm my heart and to practice being calm. Like, this is not a moment where you need to get. I am invested when I went to films, and
Yeah.
I was right there. I followed the music cues. I was right there in the spaceship or wherever we were together. It made for some great movies, but some crazy life making. So I actually use the movies to practice the skill of
Conquering your fears.
of choosing my emotion. No, of choosing my emotion.
Good.
Hollywood, I'm on to you.
We found the secret loop to life. It's the movies.
That's right.
For me, it's the feet thing. Like, if there's something suspenseful, my feet cannot be on the floor. Even in the movies, if I'm sitting in a movie theater and it's suspenseful, I will pull my feet up off the floor and put them on the chairs.
So do you like those 4D movies where something whips at your ankles?
No, I don't like it. Even I know this sounds so funny because I'm an adult and I should grow up now, but even when I go to bed, as soon as my feet get near like the bottom of the bed, I like jump on it so they're not lingering too long, so something could grab my feet. I know.
Still to this day?
I know it sounds so funny, but I can't help it.
Master your fears.
I gotta watch more movies.
To practice.
Parallel them to my life.
No, you just got to stay in front of the bed with your feet dangling
I
over.
cannot do it because I have a vivid imagination, and I can just. It's the power of thought, and I feel like because my power of thought is so strong, if the hand is going to reach out from under the bed, the hand will be there. I can't do it.
We'll have to take you on some mental imagery.
Oh gosh.
Okay, here is the next one.
Is this X-Files? Yes.
This one was awesome.
Aren't they bringing,
Doesn't it make you want
are
to
they not bringing
shiver?
that back, or have they brought it back?
I
I
heard
thought they were doing like a redo of the
I heard
I just
that
about fell off my
Netflix
chair.
solving that
I was all excited.
mystery. Yeah. Okay. That's all I have for you.
Oh, I did good.
You passed.
That was way better than Gemstones last week, where I couldn't even get one.
Hey,
Knocked them all out of the park.
that's right. You know your music.
I know
your
my-
mysterious
I do.
music. It was Pink Panther mysterious.
But it's
kind of
a
a
mystery. I mean, you've got the detective who's solving the mysteries.
That's right. There
Yeah.
was a detective. Okay. Dun 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 dun. Inspector Gadget. Also a detective I used to watch quite regularly.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, unsolved mysteries.
Oh, you want to go back there
I
again?
know we touched on it.
Yeah.
But did you know how many mysteries got solved because of that show?
Do you know how many children's lives were ruined because of that show?
Probably.
I'm serious. Anybody out there listening, write us on Facebook right now and share your experience that you had as a child with unsolved mysteries.
Or even, wasn't it the same guy who did Ripley's Believe It or Not? So believe it.
No.
Or not.
No, it wasn't the same guy.
No?
But I do remember one episode specifically, and it was about this seal. This sea lion. I don't know why this episode stood out to me, but it was
Because
about
of
this.
all the sea lions you encounter?
No, but it was about this sea lion that used to sit on this dock in this town, and he was really friendly, but somebody murdered the sea lion, and they couldn't. It was an unsolved mystery, and so they didn't. Anyway.
Well, I hope TV helps solve that crime.
We've gone into cold case. It's just unsolved. I don't know what happened to the sea lion.
He's under your bed.
Oh, if only he had opposable thumbs.
Arr, arr, arr.
Make fun of me all you want. Go
I'm
ahead.
just teasing. Okay, I'm the one who holds my heart in films like, I will not feel your feelings. I choose my own feelings.
Okay, so it just, birds, now sea lions. Let's throw some more stuff in there.
Well, do you have arachnophobia?
No.
Ooh.
I actually really like spiders.
Yeah. So I worked
don't bother
really
me.
hard as a mother to make sure that my daughters were never scared of any sort of insect. Like, because why should they be scared? I wanted them to just appreciate nature, love it, and I feel like I did a really good job when they were younger.
Mm-hmm.
And I would hold spiders and ants and take them outside if they came in, and just let my kids play with worms and all sorts of creatures. And then I thought, okay, I'm done as a mom. I've done my duty. But we have like foreign exchange students that live with us. And I kid you not, they are terrified of ants. I know. And my kids have adopted this, like, we're scared of insects too. I'm thinking,
no. All that hard work
all
down
the
the drain.
hard work. So I'm hoping I've taught them well and it will come back full circle.
I'm sure it will.
Right? That I think they've really bought into this, oh, we're scared of ants. I remember the first time we were upstairs and our student screamed.
Yeah.
We're like, we come running down, like, what happened? And she like puts, and that. And we're like, an ant? Anyway, mystery solved. Not.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Anyway.
Just get rid of those foreign exchange students. You'll be fine. All will go back to normal.
Come on, people. And I thought, in Japan, you have to have way weirder insects.
Well,
than that.
I lived in North Carolina for years, and so my kids grew up with crazy insects.
Oh, yeah.
My oldest son is terrified of spiders because we had brown recluse everywhere, so you were always watching out for those cockroaches. We had the flying roaches that they would in the middle, like I would be up late watching TV, and you'd go to walk down the hallway, and there'd be one crawling down the hallway, and all of a sudden it would just fly and like aim. So you're like ducking like that. And then we would have, you'd wake up in the morning sometimes, and the kids would go into the bathroom to go take a bath or a shower, and there would be a spider about that big,
Just there.
just hanging out in the bathtub.
That's when you have too nice of weather.
So
Yeah, too many.
unfortunately, I couldn't, knock that one out of the park with the don't be afraid of spiders. Because they were monsters. Or you'd get the crazy wolf spiders that carry the babies on their backs, and they'd stop, and all the little babies would just like wriggle. Oh, my kids were terrified. So,
Okay.
yeah, we had way more fun bugs. Anyway.
Okay. If you are just joining us, it's Alfred Hitchcock Day, and we're here to solve some mysteries. Just joking. I'm Danielle Lowe, owner of
Sorry,
all
I
these
just had
events.
Scooby-Doo flash through my mind, the mystery machine. I don't know why, but
Oh,
when you said that, we're going to solve a mystery.
come on, Shaggy, let's go. My brother can actually do a fantastic Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Shout out
Claim to fame.
Matthew. I don't think he watches Soapbox Union, but I'm going to tell him to. Tag
Yeah,
you
you
in his
should.
comments. Okay, we're going to tell you about fun facts.
Yes.
Do you have something? Do you need your...
No, I'm waiting to hear what you're going to say.
We're talking about fun fictional female sleuths.
Oh, fictional?
Or they don't have to be fictional.
I picked a real person. Or we could just go back to Rosemary and Thyme. They were pretty cool.
Okay, fiction and nonfiction.
Well,
too.
I picked an author.
Okay.
But you start.
Okay, I'll
Because
start.
I'm excited to hear what you got.
Well.
Done.
I wish I would have picked this theme song, but I couldn't remember it. If only I had...
What theme song?
Well, I don't know. The theme song to Murder, She Wrote.
Oh, yes.
And so when Angela Lansbury was in, when she sang in Beauty and the Beast and she's a little teapot, I always called her Jessica Fletcher.
Because that's what stuck. That's what you knew her as.
Because Jessica Fletcher was the same thing, this author who kept solving mysteries because people would die around her.
What is with that? Seriously, you do not want them as friends.
But I was so intrigued to learn that this 93-year-old woman has been in film, theaters, and television for 7 decades.
Yeah, she just made a little cameo in Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
So cute.
How amazing. Already a completely difficult industry to stay relevant in, and she manages to do it for 70 years. So she's been awarded all sorts of awards, but I thought I would tell you some of my fun facts that I found about her.
About Angela Lansbury or the show?
About Jessica Fletcher. No, about Angela Lansbury.
Okay.
She held the record for the most Emmy nominations without a single win, with a total of 18 unsuccessful nominations over 33 years.
Wow.
I just think to be nominated is pretty amazing. And she's the only actress and the 3rd performer ever to be nominated for all 4 performance awards at the Tony Awards. And she has 2 stars in Hollywood. One for television, one for film.
Wow.
Yeah. She was an avid letter writer and made copies of all her correspondences.
Uh-huh.
Cool. What are you doing with these letters, Angela?
So there's this, sorry, are you still going with her?
Go ahead.
Because I wanted to say, you know how Angela, we'll call this a mystery. She has always looked old. Okay, have you, right? So,
Fun fact.
It is.
She said Hollywood made her older because they gave her these matronly characters. And so we've always thought she's really old.
Yeah, I know, because everything I have seen her in, she just looks old. Even when she was in her 30s, she looked like she was 50. And you just think, what's wrong with her? So
What's not wrong with her? Like, what a woman. She lives forever.
So in the movie The Harvey Girls with Judy Garland, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but Angela Lansbury is in that movie, and she's one of the singing saloon girls.
Yes.
But she's in her 20s, and she's gorgeous. And the first time I saw this movie, I thought, who is that? Wow, is she beautiful? It was Angela Lansbury, and I had no idea because I went, that's the first time I've ever seen her non-old looking. It was shocking.
Well, actually, when I was researching about her, they had pictures of her, and she was this beautiful, vibrant girl, and it was kind of in her like 30s where they made her this matronly
she went
character,
downhill fast.
and then it stuck, and that was her role. And
How
so
sad, because everybody just wants to look young as long as possible. She's like, no, I want to look old sooner.
well, you know what? Maybe she just embraced it, and
She
has
totally
always-
did, and it worked for her.
Well,
so
and it worked 70 years,
let's think about that, people. Let's turn the tables here, maybe.
right? Well, that actually
Your crow's feet are looking gorgeous tonight. Just
I
kidding.
love it.
Keep going.
So I actually didn't write that fact, but they did say that Hollywood did make her look old for a long time. And they would write her like, how come you're so old? And she's like, I'm 30. This is acting, people. She was just good. And when she was 16, she was before the age of being...
She's just always been mature, right?
No. Like at 16, she got a job, but they had to have kind of a chaperone because she wasn't even
old enough to really...
Yeah. And when she was 16, she lied to get a waitress job at 19.
Well, who doesn't lie about their age once in a while?
Okay, she did marry Richard Cromwell, and I found this really... Their relationship ended in less than a year because he married her in the hope that it would turn him heterosexual, but he was homosexual, and I thought, oh, yeah. Back then, they just didn't know marriage does not change.
Mystery solved. She died. Doesn't work.
And then I thought this was really neat because often life is determined on the smallest choices. And in 1983, she was offered a chance to star in 2 television roles, a sitcom and a detective series, in which she accepted the latter.
Good choice.
And she went on to play Jessica Fletcher in Murder, She Wrote, and she felt the character of Jessica was a role model for older female viewers, and stating that the role had enormous universal appeal, and it was an accomplishment I never expected in my life. And I thought it said there it is, in which she accepted, so the 2 choices, her agent told her, don't do Jessica Fletcher. And she did it anyway.
I feel really bad now because I've never watched Murder, She Wrote. I mean, unless it was on at my grandma's house. Speaking of older women, there you go, demographic. But it was always that show when I'm flipping through TV, I'm like, crap show, I'm not going to watch that. Next channel. I did. And now I feel bad because it was this huge show and it was so monumental. And I just was always like, next.
Well,
Sorry.
tell us who you found.
Well, I didn't find anybody. It just, she was just there. But I dug into Agatha Christie a little bit. She's the mystery author. I think between men and women. I mean, you say Agatha Christie, everybody knows who she is. But she was very ahead of her time because to be this completely successful and nonetheless mystery author, which that was just kind of like a man's world. They always thought women, you just stick to the romance. But to go and dive into investigation and mystery and in the 1920s, that's huge. And to be so famous. So I was digging up some fun facts because I didn't want to just talk about Agatha Christie. I thought, well, let's find some fun things about Agatha Christie and talk about her. So she, and funny because she's this world-renowned author, but her mother did not want her to learn to read.
Oh.
And so at the age of...
Because who needs to learn how to read? I guess 1920.
You just cook, clean, and have babies. I mean, that's all you're supposed to do. So at the age of 8, she started teaching herself to read. So she's a self-taught reader. And then at the age of, I believe, 16, she started, teaching herself and educating herself and that type of thing. So she...
Before you two.
There was a big, yeah, I know. How did you do that? There was a big, worry that she was just going to become illiterate. And, how sad would that be if,
If she never...
if she didn't follow her dreams. So there was that. And then her first book that she ever wrote was part of a dare and a bet against her sister because her sister didn't think that she could write a book. And so she's like, well,
That's all
I
she
can
needed.
and I will. Watch
So
me.
watch me.
She once disappeared for 10 days, and there's a lot of speculation around this mysterious disappearance, which they just put out a Netflix show. Have you watched it? You should
No.
watch it. It's really good. It's all about her and their...
Like a documentary?
No. It's a movie. but it's kind of somebody's take on what they think happened to her during her disappearance. And it's actually...
She made her own mystery.
She was solving a real mystery in this mystery. So, anyway, it's kind of cool. She had an alias name as well, and she wrote 6 romance novels under that alias. So she's not all mystery. She's a little bit of romance.
A little bit of lover.
I'm a little bit mystery. I'm a little bit romance too. So she also loved surfing.
I don't know that song, but it feels like one.
It's Donnie and Marie. I'm a little bit country. I'm a little bit rock and roll.
Okay, I do know that one.
I was just being clever. That's not clever enough. But she loved to surf. Hello, 1920s surfing. I think that's really cool.
Well, there's a lot of cool facts about her.
Well, I'm not done yet.
Well, I'm
Hold
still
the
listening.
phone, because there's more. She took an oath of detective writing.
An oath of
Yes!
detective writing?
There's like a secret club for mystery writers, and she was the president of it at one point.
Own mystery.
I know, I think that's so funny. Took an oath. I swear I will always write mystery novels to the best of my ability.
Except for my 6 romance novels.
But that's why they were alias, so she wouldn't be
Well,
in
who would
breach
read
of her
Agatha
oath.
Christie, the rom-com? I don't know.
She
Did her romance novels do well?
yeah. Well, I mean, she's like got the Midas touch. Everything she touches turns gold. She tried her best to take up smoking. I think that's hilarious.
Well, it was all the rage.
I know, it was all the
before
rage.
They knew how
Do you remember?
awful
Do you remember
it
the
was.
movie Mousetrap?
Oh, is it with the twins?
It had
No, that's Parent Trap.
yeah, no, yeah. It was it's a mystery. It's about the anyway, whatever. I don't know. I want to say it's the movie about the little mouse that's like running through the house, and they keep trying to trap it, but it's almost comical.
I know the board game.
The board game was based off
Was
that
based
movie.
off that movie.
She actually wrote that play, and it is the longest running play. It is still running today, even after 60 some odd years. It is still running. There's been like over 25,000 performances of it.
Serious Midas touch.
It's beaten cats.
Sorry, Andrew Lloyd Webber.
I know.
Agatha Christie's in town.
Try again. So she also loves archaeology, and she worked as an apothecary, which, A for arsenic, that's where she got, this is just like Rosemary time, full circle, but this is how she used...
We're solving our own mysteries! Sorry.
This is how she used a lot of her knowledge for drugs, arsenic, apothecary, was because she worked as an apothecary. See?
You need to start writing novels. Add that to your list. You could do a horticultural. You could just go everywhere, though. You wouldn't have to stay in the same
I
little
would be
town.
the ultimate... Have you ever... Sorry, I'm going to digress. Have you ever planned, like, the perfect murder in your mind?
No.
I thought everybody did that. No? Okay, just me. Watch out. I know. I love watching crime investigation mystery shows, and I take tidbits from all of them, and I think, oh, that's what the police overlooked, or that's what they did.
I'm worried.
And then I'm going to put this whole collaboration together, and I'm going to have the perfect murder.
Okay, well, here's a true story.
It's just in fiction, though.
So,
Just wanted to throw that in there.
jokes. I was going to end the show with the quote, if they can't find the body, it's not murder, it's a missing person. And then I thought, that's creepy. But here's
But it's
true. Admitting to. So when before Netflix existed,
Yeah.
you could go to Blockbuster and rent the whole season of CSI.
Uh-huh.
And he'd always put his glasses down and be like, every time he saw a crime scene. Anyway, I loved those shows. I just liked the intrigue, the murder, the finding out, because it reminded me of reading Nancy Drew
Aw.
and the Hardy Boys. But after a while, it gets so creepy. There's too much of it, too creepy. I had to cut myself off.
What,
of,
in CSI?
in CSI? Yeah, not Nancy Drew.
Like, Nancy Drew.
Nancy
Whoa.
Drew. So, funny thing, Nancy Drew, I read as a child, loved it, couldn't get enough. And good thing, because there were thousands of them, or hundreds. Anyway, read them all the time. Check them out from the library with the little card you'd write on, and then the librarian would stamp.
Don't you miss those days?
Oh,
Don't you miss going to like the Rolodex or like the card files and thumbing through to find your book?
So yeah. And I actually got so good at reading Nancy Drew that I could predict who was the murderer
Wow.
most every time. Now, my girls loved reading Rainbow Fairy Magic. Oh, there's like even more of them than there are Nancy Drews.
Huh.
But when I did some
I've
sleuthing,
never heard of that.
ugh, you're lucky. It's also, you can tell, it's one story told a bajillion times.
And
Anyway,
yeah.
and I always thought, oh, please let there be no more books in this series, but it's a never-ending series. Anyway, when I went to find out about Nancy Drew, I realized Nancy Drew was created by a man.
What? You created a little girl who solves mysteries.
Okay, that was nice. In the 1930s, Edward Stratmeyer, but he died 2 weeks after the series debut in 1930.
Oh.
So, one of the possible names for Nancy Drew was Stella Strong. Thank you for not having that.
Thank goodness
Nancy.
is right.
I like the name
Stella Strong.
Nancy. Don't you like that name? I dated a boy and his mom was named
Nancy.
And his mom was named Nancy. And I just, shout out to Nancy. Anyway, more than 500 Nancy Drew books have been published since 1930. And this is what brought me to Rainbow Fairy Magic series. They had over like 6 authors that wrote this.
Rainbow Magic.
Rainbow Fairy Magic.
Rainbow Fairy Magic. I'm not going to remember that name.
Well, you don't have to. Sorry, Rainbow Fairy Magic books. Anyway, it is from Britain, so you might really like it. But the continuation of this series in paperback, spin-offs, special editions, cookbooks, and sleuth books has been phenomenal. Carolyn Keene is a pen name for various ghostwriters. So it just has these ghostwriters. And Mildred Wirt Benson wrote some of them. But Carolyn Keene was not the name. And that's like Daisy Meadows writes all the Rainbow Fairy Magic books.
Daisy Meadows? Is that her real name?
No, it's a ghostwriter, and it's just 6 authors.
It sounds
who
very
all
fairy,
joined it.
rainbow, magic, whatever that is.
Yes. Anyway. And then from 59 to 78, 34 volumes were revised and cut down. Oh, that's not a very fun fact. But Nancy,
Let's just skip that one.
should have proofread what I copied. No, I thought I just kept the good ones. But when Nancy Drew was 16 in 1930, and in 1950, she was 18. Sorry, Angela Lansbury. You've got to age.
Yeah.
And Nancy Drew stayed young. Stay living. Okay.
As it should.
If you're just joining us, my name's Danielle Lowe.
And I'm Cami Tanner.
And together we make up Soapbox Union. And tonight, in honor of Alfred Hitchcock Day, we are solving mysteries.
Woohoo! And solving lots of them.
And so we're going to end
Yeah.
with solving or explaining or trying to get...
Some of the most famous mysteries, well, that we can think of or find out there. So, we had little different takes on this,
Yeah,
which
we
was
did.
kind of fun when we both said, okay, let's pick some mysteries out there and we'll talk about them. And then we came together to collab. It was like, oh, you went in a totally different direction. I was like, that's really cool because I love how we see things or how we, interpret things. So I thought of 3 different mysteries, and I actually categorized them. One was natural, one was animal, and then another one was treasure. So the one that I have kind of always been fascinated with is the Bermuda Triangle. Ooh,
right?
Ooh. And I thought it was so cool as a kid because it was just this devil's triangle, this magical place within the ocean.
Where you didn't want to sail.
And things just disappeared. I felt like as soon as you would just float into that area, the clouds would come over, and then you were never heard from again.
Falling down.
And you were just lost forever. But there's been all these different mysterious things that have happened, from sinking ships to planes disappearing to extraterrestrials or aliens or crazy magnetic storms, and it's just been a mystery.
Until tonight.
I haven't solved it. I'm not going to the Bermuda Triangle. Heck no.
Not even if someone paid for like a beautiful cruise right through it.
No.
On a yacht.
Honest to goodness, I would turn
That
it
you
down.
could keep at the end.
I would turn it down.
Really?
Yeah, I know.
You wouldn't
but
even consider it?
Nope. Final answer. And I have to think about that. I am determined I'm resolved in my answer that I would never go there. Yep. Even if it was a Disney cruise or whatever, I would not go. It's just too weird. I don't want things to happen to me. That's like playing with fire. It's just, why do you want to toy with that stuff? I don't know.
Okay, well, my first mystery.
Moving on.
I don't know what to say.
It's okay. You don't have to say anything.
A private yacht in the Bermuda Triangle that I got to keep, I'd consider.
No.
Okay. So I decided to go back to my childhood and solve some of those unsolved mysteries.
Oh.
And look at how they had been solved. So Gabby, not his real name, moved away from Wyoming, and he left his stuff with his friend Newell.
Is this a true story?
Yes.
Okay.
Including a trunk with a lock on it. Now, for those of you listening at home, if your friend is moving away,
Wyoming, trunk, lock on it. Kate, keep going.
if someone leaves you with a trunk with a lock on it,
I'm going to pick it and find out what's inside of it.
well, it took Newell 6 years, I think.
To pick the lock?
Before he looked at what's inside. And when he did, he found a human skeleton. Now, instead of calling the police, he calls his friend, Gabby.
Well, because really, after 6 years, I mean, what's another 5 minutes?
To give him time to come up with a cover story that disappeared. What a good friend. So Gabby told Newell that he had purchased the trunk at a yard sale and had no idea
everybody's story.
What was in it.
Wasn't mine.
Why did he leave it?
I don't know.
Okay. So Newell calls the police, and the police figured out that the guy in the trunk had been murdered. But that was all they could come up with. And then
Wyoming police.
Gabby kills himself.
What?
I know. This case appeared
Why?
unsolved.
Because it was his friend's trunk. It wasn't even his.
No, it was his trunk he left with his friend when he moved away.
Oh.
Maybe it wasn't purchased.
That's where I was missing a step.
Solved mystery, but okay. So then, according to the Global Dispatch, a viewer told detectives her uncle murdered her father in 1960 and buried him in a trunk. Evidently, the killer then unburied the trunk, took it to Wyoming, and left it at Newell Sessions' house.
So that was her dad in the trunk?
Yeah. DNA samples confirmed the skeleton was the woman's father.
So that's why she killed herself. She was so distraught.
No. This is just another person.
Oh.
But it says the killer unburied the trunk, took it to Wyoming, and left it at Newell's house. So why did he... Maybe he was so frightened that they would think he murdered.
But if it was buried and nobody was looking for it...
No, it wasn't buried. He left it
You
at
just
his
said
friend's house.
he pulled it up. It was
Oh, he opened the lock.
Oh.
It wasn't buried. He just picked the lock after 6 years.
Okay.
So either don't pick locks and don't take locked dress
Good rule of thumb. Don't pick locks.
and don't take locked trunks from your friends.
Yeah, it's just like the airport. Unreported luggage should be notified
never
to the
be
authorities. You just don't let that happen.
Yeah. All right. Next mystery.
Well, I'm going to go with the Loch Ness Monster. Okay. So,
Ogopogo.
that's British Columbia.
Oh, shucks. Sorry.
But I have this theory that the Loch Ness Monster and the Ogopogo are one and the same. There's just a long tunnel underground from Scotland all the way under Canada to BC, and he's just popping up here, and then he pops up there, and he goes back and forth.
Where is this tunnel?
Well, I haven't found it yet, but this is just a theory. It's
A
my
theory.
hypothesis.
Science with Cami. Don't put that on the science segment.
I just think it's cool. I just think it's cool that there's these creatures like the Loch Ness Monster. And no, I don't think it's just tires floating in the lake with the telescope coming up out of it. You know, kind of like when you go. Anyway, never mind. I won't keep going on that. But and Bigfoot. Do you believe in Bigfoot? It's so mysterious. It's like they're so close to discovering it and yet so far.
Okay, well, I took my girls to Bigfoot, the movie, the animated film. Have you seen that?
No, but
It had very, it was a kid's cartoon about Bigfoot and some guy wanting to discover.
yeah.
But then it had all these deep inner meanings of.
I think I remember you telling me this once,
Yeah.
but I just can't figure out how they haven't caught this thing yet. Have you not, just...
Maybe he has
They've
an
found hair
Ogopogo.
samples. They've had, field cameras out there snapping shots, and yet they've heard it. They just
Nothing.
nothing.
Well, this next mystery is going to blow your mind.
You just bypass mine so fast.
Well, this one you'll see why.
I guess mine aren't good enough.
Nope. Well, if you Google unsolved mysteries in Alberta, you're going to come up with this beauty. And you can't see it here.
Not very good.
Not very well. Well,
Do you want me to describe it?
well,
You
no.
talk, and I'll describe. I'll paint the picture.
How am I supposed to talk over top of you?
Yeah, actually, I don't know what that is. You go ahead.
It's called. This was so. Wait. Who built the Sunny Slope Sandstone Shelter? This was the only
Say
mystery
that 5 times fast.
I could find in Alberta that was unsolved. And really, what it is back in the day in the 1900s when settlers would come, they would build a dugout, and then as they built their log home outside, and so they would bury into the coulees. But this one in particular, if you look closely, there's a door and then a little hole, and then it's dug into the hill.
So there's the rock arch with the keystone, and then it's just this. It looks like a pizza oven. It's a big. No, it's like
It
a
does
big
look like a pizza
brick
oven.
dome with just a wooden door, and then a grassy hill around it. That's all the picture is.
So this was Alberta's big unsolved mystery because it's a historical site out of Three Hills, Alberta. And they don't know who built it. It could have been two of the landowners.
I'm gonna say a pioneer.
Yeah, I was like,
This is all you got, Alberta? Come on. We got some better stuff
this is our
here.
mystery. Wait.
Do 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 do
you know what this
do
is?
do 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 do.
Do you know why I did this?
Yeah, because you're starting into a mystery.
No, in every episode, Alfred Hitchcock would put himself.
He cameo, yeah.
Do a little cameo just so that you could find him. And you can have party games with just try and find Alfred.
Maybe you should make that a board game.
Where's Alfred?
So did they ever solve this? So the whole mystery is we just don't know who built this arch.
And they're like, it could have been one of two people.
And they're making it a big deal.
It digs down into the ground, and it's lined, most of them were lined with wood, and this one was actually lined with masonry work. It It sounds so Canadian.
You shut down my Loch Ness and Ogopogo for this.
That is a mystery needing solving. Canada's finest. Get on it.
Well, you get a Scooby snack for that one.
Oh, you're kidding.
Oh, too fun.
Wait, I do have one.
Okay, one more because we're out of time.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Are you going to do yours?
It's fine. You'll just shut it
No,
down.
I won't. Go on.
No, I don't want to anymore. Go for it because I want to hear your exciting mystery that has.
So this is a local mystery. One time I was having some nice hot chocolate in the Penny Coffee House. And a worker there said, did you know that there's tunnels under the Penny Coffee House that lead to the Alex Arm Hotel?
Oh, I've been in the tunnels.
And she said that there's a ghost that haunts the tunnels. You've been in them?
So I went down. Mel, who owns the Owl, he took us down into the basement of the Owl, and he showed us like where it starts because, and I'm solving your mystery.
No!
The Owl used to be a brothel back in the day. And so there's all these tunnels leading to all these different places within Lethbridge because it was
Was it for prohibition?
almost for prostitutes. It was. What do you think a brothel is? So that's where all these people.
I thought it was like before, like when you'd sneak into it.
No, but so that's where all the people who, like all the men who were civic leaders and whatever, they could go into these tunnels and go over to the brothel
And not to
and
seen.
do some more business over there.
Is that what we're calling it these days? Business.
Taking care of business. So that's, yeah, so I have seen the tunnels. They actually exist.
Well, I knew they existed.
Oh.
She told me that they were there, but we couldn't go in them that night. And I've never been in.
Yeah, so, and they are, it is
Were they haunted?
extremely spooky. That was probably one of the worst feelings I've ever had was when I was down there.
Oh,
I did not like it at all.
there you go.
And I just have to say, on top of it, he was storing, no, this is hilarious. So we were down there and he was showing us like the big giant broiler and it's just very creepy and gloomy down there. But he keeps all of his Halloween decorations down there as well.
Oh, girl.
He had, I kid you not, he has this plastic wrapped like a dead body and it was hanging from the ceiling. So when you walk down the stairs and you're in this all of a sudden you see this hanging body with the head down at the bottom. It's just wrapped in plastic and you're, do your scream. You're a little like, ah. See, I can't. Oh, jeez. No, I didn't mean for real. So anyway, it was very.
Put that in your back pocket when you need it.
Yeah, it was good.
All right, well, we hope you've enjoyed this mysterious episode, that we've solved some mysteries for you. And I hope you join us next week as I, your host, just joking, co-host, Danielle Lowe, owner and operator of I Am Eve Events, and
Cami Tanner from BoxofBureau.com
are going to be talking about seedlings, plants, and gardening.
We promise it's going to be fun.
Awesome.
It always is. Anyway, we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.